The king in the north! The king in the north!
Yo, as always, like, share, subscribe. And now let's just get into it. So we running through these positions and we slowly getting closer to the season. So today I wanted to talk about the defensive line. And honestly, I like this defensive line, y'all. I know people that don't follow the program, they lost Aiden and they lost Ojabo. But this defensive line is going to break you down. This defensive line is going to come in waves. Enough. Bring in some more dudes. You bring them in. This defensive line is going to wear teams out to where the offensive line is going to be tired. From looking at it in all the depth, it reminds me of 2016 defensive line where we didn't have. Yeah, we had, who was it? Taco Charlton had 10 sacks, but everybody else you had. Let's see. Jabril Peppers had 3 sacks. Mike McCrary had 4.5. Ryan Glasgow had 3. Chris Wormley had 5.5. Maurice Hurst, 5 sacks. Chase Winovich, 5 sacks. Now, this is a different scheme, but it's got those type of players where you're going to have this guy get a sack, this guy get a sack. That's how they're going to do it. It's not going to just be 2 players getting all the sacks. Last year we had, 25, 26 sacks or something like that, and almost all of them came from, all of them except for 3 or 4 came from Ojabo and Aiden. So you want to be able to rest. You want to be able to bring dudes in, rest dudes, bring in fresh guys. So the the offensive line is constantly getting worn out by fresh bodies. So this defensive line is deep, and I'm about to get into it, but I just wanted to say that it kind of, all the different dudes that can hold their own, it kind of reminds me of 2016's defense. And going through this roster, this team, this is a year that they need to maximize it, because there's a lot of seniors. I already went through the receivers. We got a lot of senior receivers. So it's just what it is. You got to maximize on the talent that you have. So I'm just going to run through this and then chop it up some more. You got senior Mozzie Smith. Now, Mozzie Smith and a lot of these boys, they've been putting on weight, y'all. They've been putting on weight. So let's see. Mozzie Smith, I think he's added 10 pounds, and he's at 337. He's 6'3", 337. He had 37 tackles last year. If anybody's been watching Big Ten Media Days, this dude sounds like he gets it. Honestly, the whole team sounds like they get it, but Mozzie, I really enjoyed the way he was talking and just the way he presented himself, all business, so I like that. So I look for Mozzie to be a leader this year. Chris Jenkins. Now I'm going to run through who I think will start first and then just talk about the depth. Chris Jenkins. He put on 10 pounds. He's 6'3", 285 right now. He had 22 tackles last year. He's a beast. They're talking him up like he's taking the next step. Most of these dudes they're saying have taken the next step. We'll have to wait and see for sure, but he had promise last year, so that's that. All right, now let's see. Mike Morris at outside. He's a senior. He's 292, 6'6", 292. He put on some weight. He had 16 tackles last year, half a sack. We're expecting big things out of him. Now, most of these dudes, the way they've put on weight, they can play inside and outside, I would say. If you need them to. If you need them to play inside, he can play inside. If you need him to play to rush the end, he can do that. Now, at this other edge rusher, I'm going to say Jalen Harrell. He's a junior. We saw him later in the season. He's kind of a big dude, a tall dude. He's 6'4", 240. And he's a junior. But I could see him coming off that edge. He should have taken the next step, and let's hope he has, and he could create some havoc. Now, it may not be him. It could be senior Taylor Upshaw, who had 7 tackles last year, 2.5 sacks. He's 6'4", 255. I think they said he lost a little bit of weight, probably lost a little weight trying to bend. So he actually had a couple sacks last year. That's another dude that's serviceable, can probably get you 5-6 sacks, maybe more if he's taking that next step, and he's going to get more chances this year. So those are the dudes that will probably start, but that's not set in stone. That's not set in stone. I'm like, none of that is set in stone. Now you got redshirt freshman nose tackle Rashawn Benny. He's 6'5", 292. He's just a big boy. So this is just depth. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 dudes I've already named that will be in the rotation most likely. Junior Braden McGregor. He's been injured. He's back healthy. He's 6'5", 265. He had 5 tackles last year. So he's coming off injury. He should be better now. He's had an offseason healthy. That's another dude that can. He was he's at the edge. They've got him on the edge, I believe. Julius Westchoff, 6'6", 266. I believe he's at the edge. He lost like 10 pounds, so he's coming off the edge now. Now, you also have redshirt freshman TJ Guy. He's 6'5", 250. I remember seeing him play a little bit last year. He's an edge rusher. Okay. That's a lot of dudes. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 dudes right there that can be in the mix. I'm not done yet. We got freshman Derrick Moore. I believe if he wasn't a 5-star, he was a high 4-star. 6'4". He came in at 250. He's at 279 right now playing DN. So he could be in the mix. We don't know how good he can be, but he was highly touted coming out of high school. I'm hearing big things about the D tackle, freshman Mason Graham. 6'3". He came in at 292. He's at 317 now. They say he's beasting also. He's going to be in the mix. Now you got freshman Kenneth Grant. This dude is a monster. He's 6'4", came in at 335. He done got up to 356. This big dog done got up to 356. So I'm not done yet. We got a transfer, I believe a graduate transfer from UCF, Cam Goody. He's 6'2", 315. Anybody else, I ain't got enough time to be breaking down all these dudes. So let's just count this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're 3 deep at pretty much every position on the D line. That means whether somebody gets hurt, all of these dudes are kind of interchangeable because there's no Aiden Hutchinson that I just named. So there's not one dude that you're going to be like, I can't bring him off the field. You're not going to have that where I can't take him off the field even though he's huffing and puffing. He's just too valuable. No, this year it's going to be, all right, you tired? Come on. We getting this year. There should be pretty much no reason for somebody to be tired on the D line. They're just too deep, and who knows who else might be lighting it up in camp. That I didn't even name, even though I named 13 guys. So all of these dudes that I named, I feel like can be in the mix and probably will be in the mix. So I know people are saying about the pass rush. I feel like whether we're blitzing some of the linebackers, whether we're just getting cover sacks, or also this year I believe we will get more pockets collapsing where the DNs crash, the DNs come around the edge, the quarterback steps up, and then he runs into Chris Jenkins, or he runs into Rashawn Benny, he runs into Kenneth Grant or Mason Graham. So I see a lot of that. Or also, one of those big boys might get a better push at first, and the quarterback is trying to escape, and then you get a sack like that. I just see the pocket collapsing more this year, and these dudes being able to create havoc. I believe by third and fourth quarter, some of these teams, their offensive line just gonna be waving the white flag like, we're exhausted. We don't want no more of this. Like, it's just too many of them, and they all coming in fresh. So this, when I see this D line and the depth and the just the different ranges of players and weights from 356 to 337 to 317 to 315, you got big dudes that are just gonna be creating havoc. And so even though we don't have what's the linebacker that was, he's slipping my mind, Josh Ross, who had about 100 tackles. I don't feel like our D tackles with Chris Hinton, with Mozzie, was just that great last year. I think these big boys, I think they're gonna be taking up a lot of blocks, and Junior Colson is gonna be able to really just make tackles. He's not gonna have to do too much. He's gonna be able to just read and be free because his big dogs in front of him are taking up all the blocks like they're supposed to. And that's not saying that they didn't do an all right job last year, but I felt like our run defense, when Josh Ross wasn't in, I feel like our run defense kind of suffered. And that could just be because the guys are young, but still, when you got big hog mollies up front like this, the running back might not even have a chance to get nothing. It just might not be a hole because these boys are going to be wreaking havoc. So I just see our defensive line as a whole being better. Yeah, Aiden and Ojabo were great. They were beasts. They were dogs. But Aiden's leadership, it's going to be hard to replace that. But hopefully one of these dudes, because from hearing these boys talk, they're hungry. They're hungry. But just the sheer amount of different types of players that you can bring in, it's just they're going to be fresh. Offensive line don't switch out that much. You got your starters in the game. You ain't switching them out really like that. So when these fresh defensive tackles and DNs and edge rushers keep coming at you and they're fresh, it wears the offensive line out to where they're like, I don't want no more. I'm tired, coach. I can't deal with all these dudes. So that's just what it is. So that's why I feel like our defensive line is just better, deeper. It doesn't have the pop of I can get you 15 sacks and I can get you 12 sacks, but I can get you 5 sacks. I can get you 3 sacks. I can get you 4 sacks. I can get you 2 sacks. I can get you 1 sack. And if you got all these dudes getting a couple sacks, it adds up. So honestly, I believe we'll have more sacks this year than we did last year because we didn't have a lot of sacks last year. We just had two dudes that had a lot of sacks, but nobody else really had any. So that's what it is. And also, and I'm going to make a separate video about this, but I just love the hunger that this team is showing. And I mean, it's all talk until the season comes, but I love the hunger and what I'm hearing from these dudes. I'm hearing they're not happy. They're not happy that we made the playoff. We beat Ohio State, but they're not happy. They're hungry. They beat Ohio State, and they're expecting to beat Ohio State this year, but they're not happy about getting blown out in the playoff. They're not happy the way they showed up. They're not happy just, oh, we made it once. We ain't going to make it again. No, they're like, okay, we made it once last year. It was great. First time. Now let's put in the work to get back there. We know how Georgia did us, so we know what it takes now. Now we know what it takes. We weren't working hard enough. We weren't watching enough film. I didn't have enough weight on me. I wasn't strong enough. Let me hit the weights more. Let me lose weight. I need to lean down some. But I know what it takes to get there. They know now. And it's left a hunger in them. So everything played out. Of course, we didn't want to lose to Georgia like that and everything, but it made these dudes hungry. And you can hear it when they talk and they speak in these press conferences and all that. And I love what I'm hearing from them about Ohio State. They're not afraid of Ohio State anymore. Before you would hear dudes talk, but it was just talk. Now, they really believe like, yeah, we'll do the same thing to them this year. We plan on doing it again to them. We ain't scared. They're not scared. And I love that. So they're expecting to beat Ohio State again. They're expecting to take Michigan State out also. And they're expecting to make the playoff again. That's the expectation. If you want to do big things, you have to have big expectation and put the work in. And I love the way they're talking, and it seems like everybody is putting the work in to be great. That's all you can do. Film room, weight room, practice field. Put the work in and then see where it has gotten you. That's all you can ask yourself. If you put the work in the film room, the weight room, taking care of your body, the practice field, and you leave it all on the field, you ain't got nothing to feel bad about unless the coach is just making dumb mistakes. But as far as you as a player, you do whatever you have to do to leave it out on the field so you ain't got no regrets. That's all you got to do. And that's what I'm hearing out of these dudes because they want to make it to the playoff again, but they want to win it. So that's all I be needing to hear, and I'm hearing it. These dudes are hungry. That loss to Georgia, it set a fire on them. So you can say, oh, they were too happy, and yeah, that might to beat Ohio State, and that was their championship. You might be right, but that loss to Georgia, it set a fire up under them boys, and they want more. They want more. They want to go back to the playoff. They want to win that playoff game. They want to make the championship. They want to win the championship. So I just love the mentality of this team and this defensive line, the edge rushers, the D-line, they deep. They deep. And if your offensive line ain't ready to play, these boys is going to do you in. It's just too much depth. It's too much depth. So people that don't know what we got, if your offensive line ain't you better have some dogs because Michigan is going to be bringing in waves of players, just waves of them. Like our defensive line should never be tired all year. It's just too deep. It's just too deep. So that's all I got for this one, y'all. Looking at this defensive line, I ain't gonna lie, it put a smile on my face. All these dudes that I'm hearing big things about, and with the dudes that I already had big expectations for. Out of all these dudes, I just need somebody to go out there and give me 8, 9 sacks by itself. That's it. I just need about 8, 9, because you're gonna get 3, 4 from a bunch of other players, and it's gonna add up. So, and then with your blitz packages and things like that, I just need one player, whether it's Taylor Upshaw, Mike Morris, Jalen Harrell, somebody to get about 8, 9 by itself. But it's just gonna be waves, and we're gonna wear teams out on defense and offense. So. Look at this D-line, put a smile on my face, y'all. That's all I got for this one, because they deep. So the first few games, I would just work the combinations and see who's it's carrying over from the practice field to the game, and just see what combinations you want to go with all these dudes, and see who maybe is even better in game than you expected, just to figure out some type of real rotation in game, because practice ain't always the same as the game. So they got a lot of dudes to see how they want to play him, and who's maybe needs to be higher in the rotation, because they just got so many dudes. You never know. Derrick Moore might turn out to be a dude that can get you 9, 10 sacks. You just don't know. So I'm happy about this D-line, and I can't wait for the season to start to watch and see who might be a diamond in the rough, or who might develop sooner than expected and come out there and really make them wreak havoc, because they just deep. They just gonna wear teams out just because it's just so many of them. I mean, there ain't nothing else to say. So that's all I got for this one, y'all. We deep at D-line. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, go blue.
It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine.